Yeah.
Well, the big topic, I guess, is the Cerrone versus, Conor thing. Everyone's talking about that. That's one of them. And I want to talk about that as well as kind of something I saw Faraz saying, oh, GSP's kicks will keep Habib away. I think he has a chance, like he keeps building him up. I'm like, feels like I'm talking about a ghost. And it's like, I like GSP in his prime, but I'm not really hopping on that bandwagon because I see Habib in the gym and I just watch what I watch on TV. And I think you've got the monster on your hands.
Well, we all like to think we have the right guy that's going to win, and but GSP is a legend, and first of all, he's always in shape. He's a scientist when he approaches the fight game. He's heavier. He's got incredible takedown defense, incredible takedown offense. He's definitely the most formidable opponent we would have faced. But at the end of the day, if Habib takes you down once, he's taking you down all day long.
Yeah, I know.
That's basically what will happen if they ever do fight. If he takes him down once, he's going to continually take him down. And, I mean, that's just the way Habib is. Once you've got your number, it's over.
Well, you're his coach, and Faraz was respectful in his comment. He wasn't, like, flaming hard, like, we're the rulers of all world. He's just saying what he believes. And of course, all you coaches do believe in your fighters 100%, right? I mean, that's it.
Yeah, no, Faraz is a great coach, and he's just stating the facts on his belief, and hey, I'm stating the facts on my belief, but you know what? When you got two great fighters, one's already legendary, and another one up and coming, everybody's thinking he's the next guy, and I believe he is the next guy. So yeah, you have to have a coach that believes in you in order for you to achieve the level of proficiency that both these guys have achieved, because they got great coaching.
Well, Tony, what's your opinion on that? You're unbiased.
Habib is the next generation of super athlete. And because he never really fights or trains to get in shape, he just trains to fight. So he's never out of shape. So he already has 50% of the battle won. The second thing is his camp. He has people, everything is fight functional. There's no bodybuilding. He's not hanging out with Joe Rogan. He's very religious. He goes to bed early. He gets up early. He never has to really recover. He has a different type of strength. And we're talking, an old guy who talks like Jean-Claude Van Damme. I want to fight Habib. Nah. I really would like to fight Habib because I think I can beat him like Kung Po. Nah. So I just see a lot of Jean-Claude Van Damme and GSP. Not, I'm just kidding around, but I just think it's the new athlete, the new generation, the new evolution. I think it's just too much. It ain't like Nick Diaz, who smokes weed all day, and these other people that GSP beat. This is a different kind of guy. Like, people like this don't come around often. There's 7 billion people on the planet, and there's only one Habib. It's different. He's different. He has this glow to him. And I've seen this in my life with certain people, and they just have this glow to them, and it's his time. And he ain't gonna be outsmarted. He ain't going to be taken down, and he ain't going to be get hit by that back kick. And so that's just my thing.
You can see who's the master, right?
Yeah.
Fortune cookie, look at the fortune cookie. Was it the Way of the Dragon? What was that called?
Don't comment.
What is that called? The Last Dragon. The Last Dragon.
No, not at all. No.
Well, we just had Larry join us. How you doing, Larry? We get a connection today. Can you hear us, Larry? I see you.
He signed out.
Something's happening with the connection. Maybe he'll try to get back in. I see him there. Maybe he sees us. But it's good. Now that I've got you, Hav, and I've got Tony over here, he can say the things that you're not willing to say or you can't say. You're like, this is great. Just express my feelings through this guy on my right.
No. Hold on. No. Those are his feelings. They're not mine. That's
my opinion is my personal opinion. Yeah. It has nothing, 100% nothing to do with him at all.
You trying to get me in trouble?
Yeah.
This guy says crazy shit.
Yeah. I'm the comic
I mean,
relief here.
yeah,
There is
yeah.
no connection.
No
here
connection.
whatsoever.
Okay, he
Great.
does stop people from taking pictures of me and autographs and all that. He does do that, but
Yeah,
other than that,
that's
everything's
it.
cool. That's
That's
it.
it.
That's as far as it gets.
That's as far as it goes.
I think I've resisted that pretty hard as long as I've known you, so maybe that's why I've stuck around. But the moment that I take that selfish selfie to show everybody who I know, it's all over right there. Then Tony's gonna come give me a visit, I presume. I think that's how it's gonna go down. So
He's gonna have to be more than that. I think.
So what do you start with you, Hav? What do you think about this Conor coming back, the ring rust, and the Cerrone fight?
Well, a lot of fighters don't believe in ring rust, but I 100% do. And it depends on how much of time off did Conor take and how quick he's trying to get back in shape without getting that timing down. And then plus one good thing for Conor on his behalf, is that he's not dropping weight much at all. He's staying at 170, which is actually kind of smart from his point, because if he dropped more weight, I think the timing factor and the strength factor would be a bigger problem for him. And they both fought at lightweight and welterweight. Cerrone most recently, right, with what Tony fought as a lightweight, right? And then when's the last when the Cerrone fight as a welterweight, the last one, or was it the one he fought with Tony? I don't remember. Who's the last one?
I can tell you. Let me look it up real quick.
I think it was Tony, right? I think he fought Tony last.
Yeah, that would have been one of his most recent fights for sure.
Okay, that's the most recent one. So, okay, just based on that, and this is what I think. I think the fact that Conor's a really fast starter, really fast, right in and out, but he kind of fades going long. So I would say within 3, I favor Conor. Past 3, I kind of favor Cerrone. And I definitely don't discount by any means Cerrone like a lot of people might be thinking. It's a fight, and as far as timing, as far as what he's dealt with, Cerrone's dealt with every kind of fighter there's out there. And I don't think he's never taken anybody like, no, I'm not fighting that guy. You want to fight, Cerrone's your guy, And
his last fight was Gaethje, by the way. His last fight was Gaethje.
Oh, Gaethje? And
yeah.
he got knocked out by Gaethje, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Him and Ferguson. They both got TKO.
But Ferguson, he blew his nose and his eye went poof, and big no-no. We all know not to do that, but unfortunately that happens. But I didn't see the Gaethje fight. But, so he's on a 2-fight losing skid. He wants to prove. He's always training. He's always fighting. So the timing and the ring rust is definitely not on Cerrone's side. It's basically for Cerrone, he's still a star. And you know what? He's got something to prove. And I think a lot of people are discounting him, but I'm not one of them.
Well, I mean, he's gritty. He's taken every fight at every call. He's never backed down. He's the one that he'll reach. I'll take that fight 1 week notice, 1 day notice. He's that guy. He's the journeyman, right? Pretty much.
Yep.
But historically, he's a slower start than somebody like Conor, who just comes at you right away. Because, Jose Aldo.
Well, the thing is, like, boxing range is Conor all day long. Muay Thai, I believe, is Cerrone all day long. Grappling, I think is Cerrone all day long. Takedowns, I think they're probably equal there. Both of them don't really try to take anybody down. So, there's a lot of advantages to Cerrone, and there's a lot of advantages to Conor. It's kind of like it's a tougher fight than people think, especially if it goes past actually 2 rounds.
And styles make fights. What do you think there, Tony?
Conor has been hanging out, drinking, getting into tons of trouble. He blindsided a guy in a bar who was in his late 50s, and he didn't even drop the guy. The guy looked at him and was like, "Hey, why'd you hit me for?" So I'm not even sure if he can punch anymore. He's got all this court stuff going on, and, Cerrone, he doesn't really match up well with him because Conor does keep his hands low, and Cerrone does throw head kicks, and he's taller. So it is a very, very dangerous fight because
you guys like to kick.
Side.
Both of you and Javier you were kickboxing, you were Wing Chun. You guys both like kicking. You feel more confident going against a boxer when you have the kicking abilities that you have as somebody like Cerrone?
kicks don't win fights. Whoever throws the straighter punches usually wins most fights. The kick is the cherry on the cake. It's not the cake.
Yeah.
I agree with that. If you focus too much on the kicking and forget the importance of the punching, it doesn't go too well. But if you ignore the kicking and you have somebody that deals with the punching that can kick too, then, you know, he's going to pop your cherry, in other words.
Conor has a lot of power, and he has good timing, and he really believes in himself. So, like I said, the first round and a half, I think he'll do good. But after that, it's really hard. The longer it goes, he's going to drop those hands, and he'll be dead open for that front lead leg kick. His head is just right there, perfect.
So that's the thing. It's like he has to just stay away from Conor's dead left pretty much, huh? You know?
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I put it like this. Boxing, Conor all day long. Muay Thai, Cerrone all day long. You know, and the clinch, Cerrone all day long. You know, so the Conor, you know, he's explosive. You know, he's got great counters. You know, so we'll see what Cerrone can take or can't take.
Are you considering watching the fight since you're already out there in Vegas?
No, it's next week. I'll be home.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'll watch it. 100% going to watch it because I'm very interested in the outcome of that fight. It's entertainment. You know, Conor comes to entertain, and Cerrone, you know, I like Cerrone, so you know, it's for me, it's an entertaining fight to watch.
Cerrone's a little bit tenderized, so that first round and a half is very dangerous for him.
I mean, we're not. Sorry, go ahead.
Hit.
We're not counting him out, but he's coming back, right? He's coming back, and you know, Cerrone's like, hey, this is the last time. Like, if anyone's got their last fight left in him, this is the time to cash it in, and it's his money.
And he's
fight.
older,
right? It's his money fight, so he's gonna take it. Like whatever he's got left, if he's got something in the can, he's gonna bring it this time.
He's leaving it out there, correct? Because yeah, this is the guy. I mean, come on, man. He's got what, the most wins, the most fights in the UFC history. You know, he's right up there. If not there, he's right up there. So for him to have never captured that glorious title or the status, you know, he came so close every time. So now he's got an opportunity to do like what Nate Diaz did, you know, become a superstar.
but
you know?
Vegas needs Conor to win because from an economical standpoint, the whole Ireland comes out here and they drink millions of gallons of alcohol. And they get hotel rooms. They spend a U-Haul truck full of money times 10. Like, they really spend money in this town. And also, Mayweather is back in the gym training. He's been training for a while, and he's got his fingers crossed, and he wants that rematch bad, and Vegas wants it bad. So, from an economical standpoint, if Cerrone wins, it just does not benefit this town. And everybody's got their hand out, and the greed is on a level high. So Vegas wants Conor to win.
So you're saying Vegas is
yeah, that kind of stuff right there. See that? Where you see that?
You get some money there.
Yeah, that's why Vegas needs Conor to win. What is that? Right there.
There you go.
That's why.
Nobody sells tickets like Conor does. I am not kidding you. You will think you're in Ireland. There's thousands of them out here, and they will empty a bar out. They ain't playing. And they
so it's Irish Disneyland.
Absolutely gorgeous women with them too also. So visually, it's pretty nice when Ireland comes out here.
Well, it's good to have Irish Disneyland. I mean, it's got to start somewhere.
You guys are on your own on that.
That has nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with me.
This is going to be one unique show, Coach. They're going to be wondering, what?
I'm just saying, aesthetically,
Yeah?
Conor brings out some serious dime pieces.
Yeah?
Cerrone brings out two hillbillies in a wooden cart. So from a visual standpoint, Conor definitely is a big advantage to the city.
I think we're going for new ratings here. Thanks, Tony. Thanks for pushing the red line a little bit, pushing the needle on the old podcast here. I got some fan questions for you, Hav. A lot of people, I just said, hey, we hadn't put up a video in like a week and a half. I go, who wants to ask Hav a question? I get like 70 of them. So I'm not going to ask all 70.
Damn. I was looking forward to staying here answering all of them. The tables downstairs can wait. I want to answer all 70 questions. Yeah.
Sorry. Umar said his next fight's in the UFC. When do you think he's going to fight in the UFC?
Well, from the last fight he had in Uzbekistan, he looked fantastic. He was the main event, first round stoppage. Habib is trying to get him on the card with him, so I'm hoping that he's able to pull it off. And Umar fights when Habib does on April 18th in Brooklyn.
Oh, really? So
yeah, I hope. Nothing's signed yet, but that's what the wishes are from Umar, Habib, and myself, because it makes it easier for me too. 2 for 1 type thing.
Yeah.
And hopefully Islam will get. No, Islam won't be. I think Islam's gonna be somewhere else. But it'd be nice if Umar can fight in the same card with Habib.
That's the next question. Several people asked, what about Islam versus Kevin Lee?
Well, Team Islam wants it. Team Kevin Lee wants it. I just don't know if Team UFC wants it because I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, both camps want it. We want it. They want it. Makes sense, but maybe it doesn't make sense for the UFC and what they're planning. So I don't really know. I just know both camps do want the fight.
I don't know why they're asking this on our show, but will Habib ever go on the Joe Rogan podcast? How do we know? I mean, that's a trick question. No idea.
I'm not sure Habib would go on it or wouldn't. I wouldn't see why he wouldn't. It's whatever his manager Ali books for him that he'll do, or whatever he's obligated to do. But I'll tell you this: I asked Habib to come on our podcast, and you know what he said to me? Do you know what he said to me?
I'm guessing. I'm you.
He said, "Coach, do I have to?" And I said, no, you don't have to. He goes, okay, then please, can I decline? I said, yeah, you can decline. We were just going to talk goofing around stuff. He goes, Coach, I do so many interviews. I said, okay. So there's your answer. So unless Habib does not have to do a Joe Rogan show, I don't think he really has the energy to continue to do all these interviews, because if you're around him, then you understand. It's crazy. It's crazy. Over here, and if he lived over here in the U.S., it wouldn't be as crazy for him. But back over there where he lives, it's nuts. I witnessed it, and I'm just like, man, he has no life.
Yeah. Well, that's why I don't even bother to ask. I'd love it, but, this show is really about hearing it from the coach's perspective and his bodyguard, and that's really the Coach and the Bodyguard show. That's the new show. And,
Coach and the Bodyguard show, yep.
I think we're going to be able to have you, if you'd like to. I've been helping Larry Kruger start his Krugcast with all the Giants and the Warriors, all those kind of different coaches from different teams. So it'd be interesting to talk to different coaches just to see their perspective. I don't know.
Yeah, and if they get out of line, I'm gonna sick Tony on them. So
that's right.
They better talk straight up.
No more lawsuits. I'm good.
Someone's asking, when are we going to see Abubakar back on Manap?
Nothing that I know of is scheduled yet. I know it was a big blow for him. He mentally choked on that last fight. But if you look at his Instagram, you can see he's active again. So he's coming out of his shell. I'm sure he's getting anxious to get back out there. Unfortunately for me, on this last fight, I didn't get to train him at all. And I normally, I like being around him because I can help him. It's a mental thing, Some fighters need physical training. Some fighters need mental. Manap needs mental. And like Habib needs no mental. Habib is just technique, strategy, and go kill, With other fighters, there's different things you need to do, but they're two opposites of each other.
Well, some people are asking about that. I'm not trying to ask for any camp secrets. I mean, no one's ever going to reveal them anyways. Of course, everyone's looking at the obvious weapons that, Tony Ferguson poses with his darts or his, freaky jujitsu or weird elbows. Is there any special training, not to reveal what it is, that goes into that when you deal with someone like that as an opponent?
Well, yeah, of course, Tony's, he's an extremely reckless, to some degree, striker. He throws with no no real strategy per se, but there isn't. You know, he throws with reckless abandon, and that's why you've noticed if his fights, he's been clipped and he's get dropped, you know, because he codes for it. So, you know, when you go in there with Tony Ferguson, you better make sure that you come loaded for not 1 round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds, 4 rounds, 5 rounds, you know, because he's going to be there. And you may drop him once, you may drop him twice. That guy's keep coming, you know. I mean, there's a reason why he's 12-0, and you know, and he keeps working unorthodox type things. So it's kind of hard to prepare for him to some degree because he's so unorthodox in a lot of things he does, and certain things he does really good. I think he's fantastic with the elbows. He's got great elbows, and he can cut you up from the bottom, cut you up from the standing. And you know, the one thing about him is that incredible cardio. He's got incredible cardio, and the drive to win is really incredible too. So Tony is a force to be reckoned with. And if we don't give him that kind of respect, then how can we beat someone like him if we don't give him the respect he deserves? I definitely respect him. I think he's a great fighter, and we're going to be prepared for him.
You know, I have something you're going to find refreshing. Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury? Who do you guys got? You can both answer.
You go first.
Deontay Wilder will knock him out. Tyson Fury in his last fight, he has so much scar tissue, and he got hit by a guy who wasn't up to par, and I seen his legs a little bit wobbly. And sometimes when a guy has really bad habits, is drinking and indoor skiing and stuff like that, and then he goes clean, he's actually not the same fighter. So if he's clean, he'll get knocked out real quick. If he's on the secret sauce and he's high, I still think he's going to get dropped because Deontay has no wear and tear on him. And he just hits so hard, and he never trains to get in shape. He just trains to fight. He's always in shape. And he's built like an NBA player, and he hits so hard, and he punches really straight, even though he runs in kind of wild. And Tyson Fury it's the last fight, he got like a 20-second count to get off the canvas in the 12th round. And I like the guy. But to me, he's just like a big Conor McGregor. And like Ali used to say, he must fall. He is going to fall. I'm telling you.
You know, I wasn't a big Tyson Fury fan right from the beginning because I looked at him and I was going, that's a heavyweight. The guy don't look like much. You know, he didn't look too coordinated, this and that. And I watched the fight, you know, and I was like blown away how great this guy really is, you know. Incredible fighting on the inside. He's got incredible agility, incredible defense, you know, and man, he's got incredible guts. Look the way he got dropped and he got back up. I mean, shit, most people would have been done for the count. He got back up and he fought out of that. And that's pretty impressive. With all that being said, Dante's been on a tear, man. I mean, how many knockouts he's got? 41 out of 42. You know, only one person gone to decision. And I probably not incorrect by saying this, but he's probably the hardest hitter of all time. You know, out of all the heavyweights, maybe out of everybody, this guy's the hardest hitter. He goes out there to knock you out. He doesn't go out there to win on points. He's going to knock your effing head off. And he's done it every single time but once. So with that being said, I don't know what's going to happen, but I kind of favor Wilder.
Yeah, it's 12 rounds is a long dance. You could be the greatest dancer of slipping punches, but
also too, Wilder has a self-taught style. It's almost like a street fighter. It's kind of wild. You know, it's kind of hard to replicate that in sparring.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's from the same tribe as LeBron James, because if you look at him, they look like they're tribal mates or something from the same genetic tribe. If you put a LeBron jersey on Delonte, and if you put boxing shorts on LeBron, there's a lot of similarities there. They got that genetics, man.
So
you got to make it a point there.
Wow, we're hitting new levels. So I was gonna say, geez, I mean that's boxing for you, and then going in, I wanted to ask you who your 3 favorite fighters, if you have 3 outside of AKA, that you like to watch the most. That like they're not from your camp, they may have never trained with you, but you like to watch them, like in the UFC. Doesn't matter what weight class.
People that I like to watch.
Yeah.
Man, I just like MMA in general. But okay, if I had to pick ones that I like to watch, I would say I used to love GSP. I still do, actually. I think he's great. Mighty Mouse, although people didn't, wasn't that big of a fan attraction, his skill set is unbelievable. I like watching him. And another one that I really like and I've come to enjoy his fights immensely is Israel Adesanya. I love him. He's incredible. And I'll put Henry Cejudo in there because I didn't put him in first. I love watching Henry. Those I guess if I have to say my 2 favorites, it's Israel and Henry. And Usman would be Kamaru. I love what he did the last fight. How him and Kobe went at it, and man, that was a true fight between 2 great warriors, and one had to break, and the champ broke the other champ. I love the fights. So pick how you want, but I would say Israel and Henry Cejudo are right up there, man.
That's interesting to find out. People probably wondered, like, who else does he like? Of course, it's cool to hear a coach say that. They watch this, they'll like it. Now, I did a podcast with you. We talked about, you were like, this is a professional sport. And we talked about fighting, and you were alluding to street fighting or saying, like when we watch a karate competition, that's point fighting. Of course, the punches are real, the kicks are real, the lethality and the athleticism of those delivering it is extremely real in the UFC. But we've never seen a death in the sport or anything. But what are the differences between street fighting, and Tony's more on that side, versus MMA? What would you say, Hab and Tony?
I'm gonna go the expert. I'm more in the sport realm. This guy is the reality, so he knows more about it than I do. He experiences. I never experienced, but zero. This guy right here, I'm 0-0. I'm 0-0, and I can't talk to a guy that's like 100-0. That's just no comparison.
The majority of all street fights usually end by a right hand. If you go on World Star Hip Hop and look at hundreds of ghetto fights and stuff, usually whoever gets clipped with a straight right hand and whoever throws a straighter punch usually wins. Kicks don't really win because most people in the street can't really kick. And street fighting is just extremely emotional. So in a fight you have, but a lot of fighters come from the street, from Brazil and everything else. So professional fighters, a lot of them are from the streets and they become professional. The only thing with a street fight is just very, very emotional because it's at the spur of the moment. Someone pushes your mom or takes your wallet. It just stirs up way more emotion.
It takes you.
Yeah, or someone tries to rob you. Then it's extremely emotional. So you have this extreme emotional high at the spur of the moment. So that's the only difference, because if you fight extremely emotional in a professional fight, you're going to get killed. Where on the street, you're only going to fight, 30 seconds or less. Whoever gets clipped first is usually, whoever gets hit first is usually going to lose, because people steal on people and stuff like that. But we're not talking about bottles and getting attacked by multiple people. That's just a long conversation. But it's just, the main thing is just, it's very, very emotional on the street.
That's interesting. I think a lot of that stuff, when you see these people that are, in the street, there's a different feeling. I don't know, because I've never been in the ring, but if you have to defend yourself, it's more of like an adrenaline. Now, if you like fighting, it's exciting, but if you don't like fighting, it's scary as hell. It's like double scary. But then I know that people that are pro fighters often talk about before they go into the ring, many of them are very scared before they walk out.
I don't think it's scared. I think it's being nervous, because if you're really scared, you're not going to do it. So if you're a professional fighter, you train millions of hours of repetition. So when you walk in, you're nervous because, it's a fight and you're fighting a high level pro. So of course you're going to be nervous, but you're not going to be scared. When someone's scared, they're going to run, they're going to freeze up, or they're going to go a few blocks from here and probably put on a mini skirt. So, this. I don't think professional fighters get scared. I think they get nervous.
Is that a combative technique? The mini skirt defense? Okay, know about this.
The thing is, I will 100% agree with him. I don't know one real fighter that's scared. None of them are scared, but I know many of fighters that get nervous. Some nervous so much they have to shit themselves right before they're fighting. And they get all wrapped up, cup win and going, coach, I gotta go. I go, what the hell? It's like, yeah, it's nerves, man. It's real fighters. They're not afraid of anybody, man. It's the nerves. Nerves are mother to deal with. And the more you fight, the better the nerves. The less you fight, the bigger the vent, the worse the nerves.
I mean, for self-defense, any recommendations, any sport, any specific martial art for the general person that doesn't do MMA? What do you guys think?
No, you need MMA because MMA has put all the fake styles into extinction because MMA is real. MMA is the best thing that ever happened to martial arts because everybody was, going to Kinko's and printing up master certificates and I'm this and I'm that and I created my own style. So MMA is the best thing that ever happened. And you can train MMA. It doesn't mean you have to be a professional fighter, but why not learn from the best? Because MMA is the best, hands down. That's just the way it is. So why not go to the MMA gym and learn? Anytime you go to style, it ain't gonna hold up.
It's like he says, 100% hand on hand competition. MMA is the best. I don't care what style, what this. It's MMA is the best. If we're wrong, then you'd have all these other fighters popping up that I train the whatever style. It's MMA. And it involves grappling. Without grappling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with the Gracies introduced, you're kind of lost. Everybody needs to have everything. So back then it was style versus style, and Gracie's proved superior over everybody. Now it's not style versus style. It's coaching. It's athletes. It's game planning. It's all those of the above. But yeah, for self-defense, I think number one is MMA.
See, what makes Javier a genius is Javier doesn't teach style. He teaches balance. He teaches timing, and he teaches transfer of energy. So if a fighter's balanced, he's going to have power. So then all he needs is timing. And once you have balance and transfer of energy, that's it, lights out. Why do you have to put a costume on,
I like that. The costume, I didn't try the costume approach. I mean, maybe wear a costume.
Well, the costume is fun. I do dress up like Yip Man sometimes, but people request it.
So we call him the modern day Yip Man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So people want that full effect. So sometimes it's about the presentation. So sometimes I have to beat up a person. They want me to do it in costume. So okay, I'll put on the costume. But
Well, you have pretty cool stuff. Where can people find your TikTok, Tony? What's the name of it at what now?
It's just Tony Valente at TikTok. So it's just crazy stuff. I'm a weapons expert. I've been doing weapons forever. I do knife fighting, swords, all that stuff. And technically with knife fighting, everybody should learn it. Because if you learn knife fighting, then you can defend it. Because there's more stabbings now than ever. In London, the UK, all over the world, there is more stabbings than ever. And you don't really have, and knife fighting doesn't really take long to learn. So if you just learn a couple of basics of knife fighting, you can use whatever martial art you have to learn how to defend it. Because the human body wasn't designed to have holes in it. So once we get a hole punctured in us, that's it. Our blood pressure changes, heart rate, everything. It's like when OJ murdered Ron Goldman. Ron Goldman was trying to block the knife with his forearm. He had 13 knife holes in his forearm.
Alleged.
OJ told 2 strippers here in town he did it.
Oh, okay.
So, okay.
Must have happened.
I'm just saying.
This is a new variety show, Tony. Yeah. I was usually very serious and coaching.
These 2 strippers are very credible sources, and they said that he said he did it. So anyways, Ron Goldman had 13 knife holes in his arm because he was blocking the knife. So if you have holes in your arm, how can you defend? from there, he lost blood, went into oxygen debt, and what made OJ a great running back was his ability to cut. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. You know, in reference to what Tony's talking about, I seen about 20 years ago, I seen a real live fight in prison with one guy had a shank and the other guy was a pro boxer. And you're watching these guys go at it. The pro boxer was lighting up the guy with the knife, right? But the problem was that the guy with the knife was being able to take full shots to the chin, but he was stabbing the guy every single time. And it got to the point where the guy lost all the blood. Before you know it, he went down, he died, you know. And, you know, so yeah, you lose blood, man. You're not Superman anymore. And, you know, pro boxer, look really good, this and that. But the guy take your shots, but you couldn't take the knife shots because it was opening up, blood, flat, and done.
It escalates. It escalates. Like Tony said, it's really in the UK and I don't know about Ireland, but anywhere where there's a lot of soccer hooliganism, as you would say, or just where they don't have, where the gun laws are so strict, the knife becomes a popular street fighting tool. And
well, it's always been, but if you look at the FBI statistics, the majority of domestic violence and stuff, the first thing that a woman usually grabs is a kitchen knife.
Yeah, that is the thing that's handy around in the house too. They hear the door, they hear a noise.
Any kitchen knife nowadays will cut through a frozen chicken, so you can imagine what it does to your flesh.
Wow. So that is some self-defense tips for people. So learn that would be combatives. Is there any special?
Yeah. So if you learn knife, then you can figure out how to defend it. But if you don't learn knife and you just say, "Well, I'll try this," it's not going to turn out well.
Well. We're just about to wrap this up. Where can people find you once again at Tony Valente? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Tony Valente on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. Tony Valente Style on Instagram. So I'm actually going to be doing some knife stuff on how to defend because I've been in quite a few knife fights. And my theories and stuff is, you know, it's different than what I've seen before. And it's been very, very effective for me. So it might help somebody out because the crime has exploded, and you know you have a right to defend yourself. You know.
Yeah, never more true than the times we live in right now. It's so true. Well, I also want to say I thank you for taking time away from the table, Javier. I know you have the eyes like you're looking at me like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up,
hurry up, hurry up, hurry up.
I'm over here going.
You want to find me? Find me at Planet Hollywood. You know, Texas Hold'em, Mississippi. Tony knows he's the guy shooting everybody away from me. You know, making sure that I have room. You know,
if you just type in Google Maps, there'll
be a picture. The Javier Mendez Casino.
That's it. You type in Google Maps.
Tony's telling me, he goes, "Hey, we got to do the podcast." I go, don't worry about it. Even if we're late with just technical difficulties, you couldn't get me off the tables. It's true. It's true. And look, we did have technical difficulties. We couldn't get Larry on here. We couldn't get on here. So
I don't know.
You're the producer of the show, buddy. You better fix this.
Guys,
yeah, don't be doing that.
Hey, look, we gotta go.
Yeah, we gotta go, man.
We're out.
Well, thanks, Tom. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.